It's Toy here doing another choice review for Mortal Kombat cards. This time I'm doing Last of His Kind. This card instantly popped out to me. It's one of my favorite cards in Mortal Kombat. This card along with the Face of a Monster, I think it's what it's called. They both have very similar functions, although this one traded once per turn effects for the unique keyword. And but they do very similar things. And what really appeals to me about this is that it has a natural enhance ability that you can use. It has a desperation enhance in order to take advantage of the desperations game state. And then it also has a deadlock enhance to take advantage of the deadlock game state. And what this card does is just merely by its presence on the table is going to influence the decisions that your opponent makes. And that kind of card, any card that has that much power just in its presence to adjust my opponent's playstyle is huge. Because now if they put you in a desperation, you're getting +2 on all your attacks. If they go to deadlock, +2 all your attacks. That's huge. Like that's not just the damage, but just the ability to make sure that your opponent is going to be more cautious. Your opponent isn't going to be able to just rush into you without being able to close the deal. They have to have far more of a plan. That instantly on its own makes this card super appealing to me because it allows me to influence my opponent. Heavy control piece that way. Aside from that, the enhanced lose 2 vitality for -4 damage is a very, very playable ability just as a one-off on your stage. So what it lets you do is that especially if you're playing a 6-hand size and you don't have the ability to block nearly as much or whatever, it allows you to mitigate some of the damage that you're going to be eating. It allows you to better deal with lots of the poke attacks that are going to be coming at you. It just allows you to make sure you can hold your blocks for the big monstrous attacks that are coming at you. And it gives you an alternative option on how to deal with utility attacks that people might be throwing mid-chain or at the beginning of a turn or however they're going to be doing things. It's very, very flexible card. Fantastic. Even on the evil symbol, and I guess order as well now, just for being a Kotal Khan support, you've got lots of ways to cut yourself down to desperation to get that +2 damage online. And there's a lot of other cards that have the desperation for damage kind of deal on it. And this just kind of acts as a 5th copy for a lot of those deck builds. So like there's tons of things you can do with this. Very good. Again, that deadlocky, great. I love that deadlocky. It's another one of those mechanics that just helps keep your opponent in check. And the more scared your opponent is of going into deadlock, the less you have to worry about that ever being an issue. +2 low block makes this card very playable in pairs. If you're going to run them in your deck, you can easily run 2 of this. Not be too concerned about pulling the second copy because it's still a strong low block for what it is. And the consistency of seeing this thing early, I think definitely outweighs the odds of seeing a second copy. So, love this card to bits. It is still just a foundation with pump and reduction on it. It's nothing to write home about in that sense, but it's the flexibility and the different game states that cause this thing to gain in power every time the game state shifts. That is great because, again, like I said, I know I'm saying it a lot, but it's just making sure that your opponent is aware that those game state shifts are going to push the board state into your favor. That's going to prevent your opponent from making certain decisions. And you can use that information on its own to your advantage once you kind of start getting the feel for your own deck. But those are the things about this that I love. And a Face of a Monster, very similar because it also has a desperation and it has a deadlock effect as well that are both very strong again, and also very good for the desperation self-cutting decks that are running around right now with Mortal Kombat. So anyways, until next time, this is Toy.